Greetings and salutations, fellow gamers. Lukey P here with another episode of Let's Play Skyrim Survival. We are picking up from where we left off in our last episode. So Baldrus, the Wood Elf, is currently hiding out in his leather tent, staying dry from the storm going on around us. So if you hear some loud background noise, that will be the wind from the storm. What we're going to do is, we did level up last time, so we're going to have a little look through and see what level up we might want to take. We're going to take health, I think. Yeah, we're focusing on health and health and stamina rather. We're not really investing into magic at this time because that's not part of the role play. Now, tracker, I do feel that he would be a good tracker of wildlife. So we're going to take that. Ranged weaponry. Can we go up in ranged weaponry yet? We can't. Or light weapon combat. We have been doing a lot of light weapon. Yeah, okay, that's the other one we're going to take. Okay, and then I think given the state of this weather, we are going to choose to sleep, which we do by pressing. Okay, evidently not by... I thought we could sleep without getting out the tent, but maybe we can't. Well, since we're up, we might as well forage. See what we can find in the pouring rain. Edible root, edible mushroom, 2 firewood. That may be handy for tomorrow. And then we're going to go to sleep for 8 hours. And let's hope that overnight this horrible weather improves. And it hasn't done. It is still windy and wet and generally a bit unpleasant. We do have a camping perk available, so let's go to our camping skills. That's part of the that's part of the campfire mod. So we could have let's do that. Some additional stamina while using a walking stick. That sounds like a good thing to have. Yeah, it's not really light enough to head off yet. Let's do some foraging for an hour. Get back in our tent, try and stay a little bit dry. There we are, we're fully dry now. And I think what we will do is we will eat some food. And this weather is pretty bad, but it's not thundering and lightning. Having our last elk steak and some boiled water. Running out of boiled water. Let's what we might do is we may... It's got an hour left, so we'll head down to the river quickly, get some water and pop back before the fire goes out, hopefully, and be able to boil up the water. So we do want to be pretty quick here. That's where the river is. Yeah, empty bottles. You can see incidentally the rain in the river. If you look, you can see the droplets. Get ourselves armed. You can see how wet we've got already. That bar in the top right hand corner, which was filling up with blue, that is our That is our wetness meter, so to speak, and it's already gone halfway full from that brief trip down to the river. So I think it becomes a question of what would a wood elf do in the pouring rain? What seems immersive? I don't think he'd go widely exploring. I don't know if he'd sit in his tent all day. He might do some foraging. Let's just see if we've got enough to replenish the fuel we have. So I think given the weather's so lousy, it does seem to be easing off. The cloud part as the rain passes on, just as we refilled the yeah, so we've got strange weather now. It's kind of sunny. There's loads of rain falling from the sky, and that may even have been lightning. Yeah, that is lightning. So even though it said the clouds part as the rain passes on, yeah, it's still interesting weather conditions. And we did just top up that fire, so I think we may be staying around here for a little while. Let's do some more foraging, see what happens in the next hour. It's still looking like weather of a dubious nature. Still some wind, that looked like lightning. We may just do a quick forage around the campsite, see if we can spot in any animals. Yeah, there's the thunder. Yeah, this is unlikely to be profitable weather for hunting or for doing much. Is that a mud crab? It is a mud crab. We hit it with shot number 1, and we missed it with shot number 2. I love it when the kill cam goes in and then it misses. Oh, there we go. Boldress is pleased with that. I think we'll leave that near route there just to remind us that it's kind of near to our campsite. Indicate there's a little pond. We'll probably look to go back and harvest that mud crab shortly. You might be able to. There's a wolf. Hello, Mr. Wolf. Bark at me all you want. You're still going to get an arrow in the face. Yeah. But I was saying that the footprints of Boldress, if you can hear them, they're a little bit wetter underfoot. Or at least I like to think they are. That is some loud thunder. And the rain is getting heavier, I think. Let's well, we'll harvest this and then probably think about returning to our campsite. So we've got some good hauls from the wolf there, including a fair amount of wolf meat which we can cook up and which will keep us going. So we've got birds singing sweetly overhead, which Boldress likes, and also extreme thunder and some rather extreme weather. Let's no, we can't manage to drag that mud crab, can we? not very far anyway. Okay, let's clean it and harvest it here. Some small animal bones and some mud crab. Chitin. Our wayfarer is up to 29. Now we did take tracker at our last level up, and now what that does is basically any creature you've got the lore of, you can track. So it grants the ability tracking more active. You automatically detect all living creatures whose lore perks are vested in them with a 100-foot radius. So what I can do, the only problem is it does obscure the creature sometimes, which probably isn't that great for recording, so I probably won't leave it on all the time. But you can basically toggle this on, and if there were any creatures nearby, it would kind of leave me with a purplyish detect life outline, but there aren't, and it's tipping down with rain still, and that fire has 7 hours left, which is plenty. So let's we'll cook up our wolf meat and maybe think about boiling our mud. So we might boil one mud crab, and then for some reason cooking directly on the fire is often better than... Yeah, okay, we'll make some wolf haunches. Let's have some boiled mud crab for lunch. I've eaten too much. Okay, that's going to slow me down a bit, but that's okay because I wasn't really planning on going many places this afternoon. Let's do some foraging for firewood to keep our fire going. I failed to forage anything of use. Disappointing. Let's try over here. You feel as if you've learned from your experiences in foraging. Excellent. 2 branches, a firewood, a deadwood and a kindling. That's not really going to keep the fire going, is it? Oh, it is. Oh, I've collected 3 firewood over the course. Okay. The weather is still lousy. Let's see what we can create. I was kind of hoping we might have been able to make a mortar and pestle by now, but it doesn't look like we can just yet. It's not even on the list. Okay. Disappointing. Let's see about putting down our tanning rack, because we seem like we will be in this area for a little while yet. That's the glitch where we pass through the walls of the tent. So, Bouldress. What do we want to make? It would be good to have some more things to help with carrying, perhaps. Perhaps we can make another box pouch. Now, what pouches do we have so far? We have side left and side right. Let's see about getting perhaps back left. So that helps us carry a little bit more, which is good, given we're going to be slowly meandering through this wilderness. I do wonder if we can make any quality leather armor yet. I sense that may be a bit much for us. Let's change this into some quality leather, but I think we may have to wait because I can't see any quality things there. That is our wayfarer going up. And that is because tracking is on, and it basically goes up by default when it's on. Which can lead to a slightly skewed game, because you won't have quite so much on your fighting skills. So I'm going to turn that off for now. Often I leave it on because it's just good fun. But yeah, I don't think Boldrus would have it on if he wasn't hunting. At the moment, we're not hunting. We are sitting in a rain-sodden tent, wondering what the day will bring. So we've got another 4 hours of that. So let's go and I think we'd spend the day foraging. I think in bad weather, we probably wouldn't look to go out hunting, but we'd be quite alright with having a little poke around the local area and seeing what we can gather. Let's have a look around here. Got an edible mushroom, edible flower, large animal bone, edible berries. So we're finding a fair amount now when we're foraging, which is I think indicative of the fact that we are spending a fair amount of time doing it. What's the report on the fire? 1 hour and 8 minutes. Let's forage once more and then we'll top that fire up for another 12 hours. I feel as though I've learned from my experiences in the wild. I have indeed learned from them. Boldrus has learned well. Let's have an edible berry. A drink of water. So I'm full and I've had enough to drink. And there's still torrential rain. Let's go inside our tent and then do some foraging and see if we find anything while we're inside our tent. We found an edible insect, some edible flowers, a blue dartwing and a small animal bone. Bleeding crown, beehive husk, edible root. All useful things, but not massively useful until I can start doing some alchemy, which again I don't think I'm quite at that stage yet. We may make some bits of bone. Hunter's bone arrow is 8. Yeah, we may make some of them. That'll do. Okay, right. Let's settle in. We're gonna go for oh, we've laid down without actually going to sleep. We can now sleep. How long? I think we'd probably sleep for 9 hours because we've done a lot of foraging and the weather's not particularly nice. I did hear the rain. It was starting to sound a little bit like it was more just dripping at the end there. And may have one of our first and third person bugs. And the rainstorm looks to have passed. Butterflies only come out when the rain is better. And there is a wandering deer, which looks to have wandered right up to our campsite. It's disappointing. Our shots aren't. Our shots were not great at all. Yeah. That deer has eluded Bouldress, which is disappointing. It is disappointing. Hunting has not been massively profitable for us recently. We haven't hit as many animals as Bouldress would have liked to. I think we're going to look to move on today. We've got the chance to hunt. Okay, let's destroy the fire. Let's pick up the cooking pot. Let's pack up our camps, our tent rather, and we can be on the way. So we are now hunting, so I'm going to toggle tracking on. And let's see what we can see. Down here, there were a pack of wolves there a few days ago, but we did take them out, and it doesn't look like any replacement pack has moved in. No, we can't really spot a great deal at the moment. Maybe we should head a bit deeper into the woods here. Over these kind of pinkish flowers. What have we stumbled on? I think this is the burial crypt we've seen before. Yes, it is. We don't particularly want to go in there. Let's head round this way. There is a rabbit. We haven't been too successful at hunting deer. That's become very bright because it's now within 100 feet. And it's now disappeared magically. And that is one of the problems of tracking, is it's so bright I thought that animal was near me when in fact it was the other side of the tree. Which is why I don't often use tracking that much on this game at times, because it has become really bright, and I think that's probably because of some of the graphics mods I've got on. Oh, hello, who's this?
Lone travelers can find these woods a little treacherous.
I don't like those eyes of yours.
I'm on a pilgrimage to the shrine of Azura, the goddess of twilight, if you'll excuse me.
Yes, okay. Where is that shrine?
To the northeast. I'll mark it on your map.
Okay, well we've heard of Azura, one of the Daedric princes. We always stick to the woods, however. We don't want to go on pilgrimages to shrines right now. Looks to be a house down there. That looks to be an entire village. Interesting. Bouldress is curious. He may May creep up to the edge of the village and take the chance to refill some of his empty bottles. Might be somebody there who will buy some of the things we have we've collected. Perhaps we can carve some of our small animal bones into thorn rings for selling. Let's do that with a whole bunch of them. We'll keep 5, but the rest we'll carve. It does look very dank and dreary though, this place. They have guards as well. It's unlikely to be a bandit holdout if they have guards, so I feel we can probably approach and see about doing a little bit of trading. I don't sense it's likely we'll spend much time here, but we may look to offload some things. Yeah, that sign probably means that's a blacksmith.
You must miss those days.
Hello.
But if you can't swing your weapon, foraging was the next best thing.
There's a goat wandering freely in the town. I expect that belongs to the town.
Steel's good, but loyalty's better. I'm loyal to Dengear first, and the Empire second.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who Dengear is, and I do know of the Empire. What is this place?
Only inside the gates. Much of Falkreath hold is wilderness, and there's plenty of trouble to be had.
Oh, we like this hold. This would explain why there's lots of forests around. So,
Blades,
what have you got
helmets,
for sale? Let's have a look.
pretty much anything to suit your needs.
Is there anything we no longer need? Not really. We've been pretty careful with what we've been purchasing and what we've been collecting. We could sell some of these pelts for money, but the pelts are valuable to us. And
See me at my forge if you need arms or armor.
yes, thank you.
I take care in every piece I fashion, because I know it's the difference between life and death.
Thank you. Your master teaches you well, I think, apprentice. Ah, the general goods store, it looks like.
Take a good look around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. If not, let me know. I might have it stored away.
Okay, thank you.
Well met. Unlike my brother, I've no dislike of strangers. Met lots of them while I was a Stormcloak.
Okay.
Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
Yeah, so what have we got for sale? You've got a fork. I don't think there's a great deal we would buy at the moment. We haven't used our existing healing potions so far, so we don't really need to worry about them. No, I think we're okay. What about things we'd sell? Well, we'd sell these thorned rings because we don't need them. We made them for sale. We've got our ring of archery. That's perfectly sufficient. So let's sell those. And we want to keep our potions. Food-wise, we could sell some rabbit haunches, given there's a willingness to pay for those, and there isn't for our foraged snacks. wolf haunches we can sell. Yeah, all but 4 of them. So yes, Amorphis, we don't need them anymore either. I mean, those are interesting, but we can do away with them. No, I think that's all we want to sell, thank you.
Steal anything from my shop and you'll regret it.
Okay, I had no intention of stealing, but thank you for letting me know. And that looks to be the way out of town. Well, I think we will look to leave town and explore these woods. But looking at the clock, this would seem to be a good point to end this episode. I'm trying to keep each episode to about half an hour-ish. So we will leave it there, with Bouldrus having camped out through that rather bad weather. He stumbled into the town of Falkreath this episode and did a little bit of trading. Couldn't find much he wanted to buy though. And next episode he'll be heading out into the woods in this direction to see what he can find there and see what adventures await him. So thank you for watching. I'm Lukey P, and I will see you again soon.